Fox News alert now. North Korea might be turning promise into reality. New satellite images now indicating the regime has started to dismantle its main engine testing site. This is a missile site. A-Team's back with us. Morgan Ortagus, Leslie Marshall, Howard Kurtz. Did you guys cool down?
No, we're ready to go.
Fire it up again. Is this step by step? Is it tit for tat? We do this, you do that, and eventually you find progress.
If this analysis is correct, it's very welcome news for the Trump administration, not just for the obvious reasons. There's a report in the Washington Post the other day saying the president is frustrated behind the scenes that after the pageantry and the spotlight of his summit with Kim, that the North Koreans seem to be slow walking, canceling meetings, not returning phone calls. There was that statement about gangster-like behavior by the U.S. I think the original hope of quick denuclearization, if the president thought that, has clashed with the reality of dealing with the maddening North Korean regime. So he needs some concrete results. This might be a first step. That would be a good thing.
Leslie, I don't think anybody thought this was going to happen overnight, but it is working really slow at a snail's pace. Earlier last hour, I spoke with Lieutenant Colonel James Reese, and he basically talks about patience, but also being cautiously optimistic. First of all, let me play that sound, and then I want you to react.
Everyone would like to see this thing move faster, but we have to be realistic. We have to let this move along. It is a process, and we also need to trust but verify. And like I said, all this intelligence is great, but then getting folks on the ground to verify this will be great for the intelligence community.
It's the trust but verify part. The trust part is the one that I kind of have a question about.
Well, I do too.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
think that when it comes to North Korea, there's not left or right, Democrat, Republican. You know, we all know what kind of a regime this is. But when you look at this leader, his father, his grandfather, a lot of promises that weren't kept, meetings that didn't go the way we wanted. I do not feel that our idea of denuclearization is the same as the leader of North Korea's. I also don't think that he is going to denuclearize in any full capacity while we have our troops, our military presence on the peninsula in South Korea, which we will continue to have. We have not seen remains returned. I think I'm a pessimist on this, and I just don't think that what we're seeing from the aerial view is the full story. I would like it to be cooperation, but I fear that it's not, and I think we're going to find that out.
So this comes on the heels of Secretary Pompeo and Nikki Haley's meeting at the UN Security Council on Friday. They came out on Friday. They had a big press conference where they pressed all of the members of the Security Council to continue to implement the sanctions, 3 different levels of sanctions that were passed at the UN. What's important to note is that Secretary Pompeo directly called out the Chinese and the Russians for violating the petroleum ban, the levels against North Korea. They showed pictures of ship-to-ship transfers. So why is this very important? Why am I talking so much about sanctions? It's because these sanctions are drastically hurting the North Korean economy. This is what Kim Jong-un wants to get out from under. And so I think the move that you saw today could be a direct reaction from the press conference and the meeting that Pompeo and Haley had at the UN on Friday.
Pompeo testifies tomorrow before the Senate.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's North Korea or whether it's Putin.
Or he might even be asked. He might even be asked about the president saying he may take away the security clearances of some of these former officials who work for Obama who are criticizing him. John Brennan calling him almost treasonous. I mean, I think that might look petty, but Pompeo has really become a guy on the hot seat, and unlike his predecessor Rex Tillerson, he's a guy who knows how to communicate. And I think just on that score alone,
I think that the shots he fired on Saturday, directed toward Iran,
was part of a coordinated effort.
Very interesting.
Part of a coordinated effort, because a lot of the president's critics are saying, oh, he just impulsively tossed off this tweet in all caps threatening war. No, they are very deliberately ratcheting up the pressure against Iran.
The fact that Iran tweeted back, I don't know, I'm shocked by that.
Well, you see, anyone who's been following Iran for more than a hot minute knows that they make these statements and worse on a regular basis. And what they say against our ally Israel is always incredibly over the top. We just haven't been paying attention. But they've been saying this ridiculous stuff for years.
We will bring you back for a hot minute.
Or
Thank
two.
you, Morgan.
Yay!
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, Bill.
Nice to have you.
Thank you, Julie.